This winter is about to change in a big way, as a substantial shift in the jet stream will lead to a significant weather pattern change. While the western and central United States surge into record-breaking warmth, the eastern half of the country is about to deal with the exact opposite, as a powerful Arctic blast is approaching right now. This big Arctic blast arrives this weekend. This Arctic blast will sweep through the Ohio Valley and East Coast. As temperatures drop rapidly, conditions will turn more favorable towards snow, bringing a risk of heavy snowfall for millions, including areas like Kentucky, Ohio, Virginia, and North Carolina. But for others, record-breaking warmth is coming. A large plume of tropical moisture will surge north across the central and western United States, bringing widespread record-breaking warmth and long-term severe weather implications. And this weather pattern is not done there. Late next week, there will be a powerful clash between these two opposing air masses, which will set the stage for more snowfall across the Great Lakes and Northeast. Now, over the next few days, we're going to continue to see a really crazy weather pattern evolve, mostly with our temperatures. And right now, we do have an Arctic air mass that is beginning to build over the Great Lakes and also Canada. And that's about to unleash down into areas like the East Coast and also the Northeast. On the flip side of things, we have a very large area of warm air that is building across the Great Plains and back into the West Coast, with record-breaking heat being a possibility this weekend and also into next week. But again, for many of you, you're not going to be very fortunate with that, because we are going to see a very significant Arctic blast arrive tonight and tomorrow, all across the Ohio Valley, back into the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic, where temperatures are going to fall by as much as 40 degrees in some locations. So dangerous cold is on the way here this weekend. And on top of that, there is a possibility of some heavy snow in some locations. Now, as we go into Sunday, that Arctic air mass will basically be encompassing the entire East Coast. Very warm air will continue to build in the Midwest, Great Plains, and back towards the West Coast. And then eventually, by the middle of next week, that Arctic air is all offshore. And from there, that heat is just going to be building all across the central United States. And this could open the door by the middle of next week for a larger storm system to eject over the Rockies. And that may allow for maybe some severe weather to return, maybe even some more snow chances, especially for those over in the Midwest. Maybe down as far south as Kansas, Arkansas, and Tennessee. Definitely not ruling that out as of right now. It's just going to depend on the evolution of these air masses by the middle of next week. And then as we go into the middle of February, things get a lot more uncertain. But I do think at some point we are going to see a pretty significant Arctic blast unleash. When that exactly happens, we don't really know. As of right now, the polar vortex will likely unleash some more significant Arctic air. I'm leaning towards the third week of February for that to happen. So something we'll be watching for during the middle of the month. So in terms of the actual temperature difference that we are going to feel as we go into Saturday morning, we are going to have a widespread area with temperatures as low as 30 degrees below normal across Pennsylvania, Maryland, and even as far south as South Carolina. By Sunday and Monday, that Arctic air is going to continue to sit in the Northeast, with dangerous and even life-threatening cold on the table as we go into Sunday across much of the Northeast. Monday and Tuesday is when we're talking about a significant heat wave. Look at Monday. We're going to have areas in Iowa, Nebraska, and even back into South Dakota, with temperatures as much as almost 40 degrees above average. And that is just absolutely crazy for the month of February, especially based off of what we've already seen here over the last few weeks, with all the Arctic blasts and also the major winter storms that we've had. And by the middle and end of next week, we could have a secondary Arctic air mass make its way across the Great Lakes and the East Coast. This one, as of now, does not look to be that significant, but there could be some snow chances accompanied with it. So for today, our high temperatures are phenomenal. If you're back over near the Gulf Coast or the Southern Plains, many areas in the 70s, even pushing towards 80. Look at this little spiral up here in Canada. That right there is our Arctic blast that is about to unleash across the Ohio Valley in the northeast. So temperatures Saturday and Sunday are going to plummet. Many areas sub-zero, accompanied with snow being on the table. And then eventually, by late Sunday and Monday, that cold air is just going to linger up there. But look at this. Monday is going to be crazy warm across the Great Plains. Many areas like Des Moines will be up near 70 degrees, which is just super abnormal for this time of the year. Even as we go into Tuesday and Wednesday, this warm air is just going to continue to stick around. This will definitely break a lot of records. And on top of that, this is a very rare winter pattern that we just don't see that often here in the month of February. And then back over in the Carolinas, look at North and South Carolina. Many of those areas like Raleigh that saw significant snowfall just a few days ago are talking about temperatures near 67 degrees. So crazy stuff there. And then by the end of the week, we'll likely have another cold front that'll stretch down into the southeast. And anywhere really along the east coast will remain below average. And then the southern plains and the west coast should remain above average for at least through the middle of February. Now, on top of all the cold weather, we do have a possibility of at least 2 different snow threats over the next 7 days. And the first one's going to be today. We already have some light to moderate snowfall that is spreading across the Midwest, back into the Great Lakes, and also into the Northeast. There are some pockets of moderate to even heavy snow. We could even see some snow squalls today, which basically means very rapid reduced visibility with heavy snowfall in some isolated locations. So, if you are traveling today across the Ohio Valley, those are the areas that need to be very on alert. By late tonight and early tomorrow morning, we will have very heavy snowfall, especially in the Appalachian Mountains near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. These are some of the locations that could easily push closer to 4 or even 5 inches of snow. Areas in the Appalachian Mountains could actually get closer to a foot of snow. Additionally, the wind gusts will be very high all across the Northeast on Friday and Saturday. So, blizzard conditions are on the table this weekend. Even though that this is not going to bring significant snowfall for most areas, the wind gusts will be upwards of 30 to 40 miles per hour in some locations, and that could lead to blowing snow. And this is going to lead to some big problems, I think. Especially on Saturday, as our pressure gradient between our high and low pressure system is going to get a lot tighter. That basically increases our wind speeds, and so there will be a risk of blowing snow on Saturday. So, be very cautious if you're traveling across the Mid-Atlantic or the Northeast. A lot of areas still have over a foot of snow. This is going to add maybe 2 to 3 inches of snow on top of that for some locations. Late Saturday and Sunday, that snow clears out. Another Alberta clipper is possible late Saturday and Sunday for those in the Ohio Valley and the Mid-Atlantic. So, if you're in Virginia, or even near Raleigh, North Carolina, before temperatures get into the mid to upper 60s by the end of the week, we will have snow falling in the Carolinas and Virginia. So, again, crazy stuff there. And then eventually, by the early to middle portion of next week, there will be a low-pressure system that'll come over the Rockies, which could bring a large area of just light snowfall, stretching from areas like Nevada, where they desperately need snowfall for skiing conditions, all the way into the Northeast. Again, this is not going to bring anything too significant. But if the low-pressure system for some reason starts to uptrend, we'll definitely let you know. For right now, light to moderate snow is possible in the upper Midwest. Tuesday, Wednesday, we're going to be talking about a lot of snow here. If you're over in the Rockies or along the West Coast, again, great news for skiers. There's hardly been any snow in areas like Salt Lake City, Utah. This year, they've had almost no snow. Like, we're talking under an inch of snow in that area. Back over in the Carolinas, we've seen well above average snowfall, upwards of over a foot. Even in Florida, We've seen some spots over 1 inch of snowfall this winter. So again, Salt Lake City usually sees over 50 inches. You guys have basically seen nothing so far, which is crazy. But again, that'll be changing here during the middle of February. Wednesday and Thursday, I'll be keeping an eye out for just continuation of snowfall all across the Northeast. We could have another storm system by the end of the week that makes its way into the Central Plains, perhaps into the Tennessee Valley. This could bring some heavier snowfall, maybe even some severe weather as well. But at least for right now, things do remain uncertain for anything beyond Wednesday. Now, this Arctic blast is going to be accompanied with very significant winds as we go into late tonight and as well as tomorrow, which again could prompt blizzard conditions for parts of the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. This will be the most impactful for Pennsylvania, New Jersey. Some of these areas still have over a foot of snow on the ground. So, if you're traveling at any point tomorrow, this is definitely something that you want to be paying attention to, as blowing snow will be a possibility. It will reach into New England late tomorrow night and into Sunday, where wind gusts will be around 30, 40, even 50 miles per hour. And this will linger into late Sunday and early Monday, before eventually tapering off on Monday and Tuesday all across the East Coast. Now, this Arctic blast will not bring that much in the way of snowfall, unless you're in the Appalachian Mountains. But we're expecting a widespread coating to 3 inches for most of New England. Areas like western New York could easily pick up closer to 4 to 5 inches. And then right there in the Appalachian Mountain Range, there will be some locations that push towards winter storm criteria. There are a couple winter storm warnings in effect. Those locations could see around 8 to 10 inches of snow by late Sunday. This extreme weather pattern represents one of the most dramatic temperature swings we've seen in recent memory, with record-breaking warmth in some areas, while others face life-threatening cold. The contrast between these opposing air masses could set the stage for significant weather events as we move through the rest of February. What makes this pattern so unusual is the speed and magnitude of these temperature changes. We're talking about areas that could see temperature swings of 60 to 70 degrees within just a few days. This kind of dramatic weather whiplash is exactly the type of pattern that can produce dangerous conditions and catch people off guard. Make sure you're prepared for whatever extreme your area is facing, whether it's record heat or dangerous cold.